everyone. My name is Jamie Smith. I am your host today on Nurse Deck. And today we have Dr. Dwayne Alleyne. Hi.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Dwayne Alleyne. I'm currently working as a full-time as a clinical assistant professor at the University of South Carolina. I also work part-time or PRN as a hospitalist at PRISMA Health, Richland, a large hospital in Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm also involved in multiple things, which we'll talk about later on in this interview.
Cool deal. So can you tell us, how did you get started in nursing?
So I'll tell you, I never wanted to be a nurse. I steered clear from nursing. My mother was a nurse. I went to Michigan State University with intent to go to medical school. Things did not work out. I actually took the MCAT about 3 times. I tried to do all the venues. So when things didn't work out with applying to med school, I tried to go and apply become a physician assistant. So I did get through the first initial interview process, but I got rejected. I tried to apply again, got rejected. And then I really wanted to stay in the medical field and build my repertoire up and build my resume up. So then my plan was to apply again. So I decided to apply to surgical tech school, and there was some mix up in paperwork. So I got rejected. So my mother's friend was a nurse as well, and I wanted to get involved in something because I didn't want too much late time, so I get lazy and not do anything. So I wanted to get jumped into something. And my mother's friend told me, "Hey, there's this licensed practical nurse program that starts in 2 months. So the deadline is still open. So why don't you apply?" So I reluctantly applied, and I got into LPN school, and I worked out well. I actually enjoyed it. So shortly after I got into LPN school, I applied to Delphi University in Garden City, New York, graduated top of the class, and then went to the Air Force. I worked as an ICU nurse after I got out of the Air Force, and then after I worked, I started to progress. My career started to progress from there. But I did not want to be a nurse. I swore up and down, but now I love it. That's my passion. So.
Sounds like you're where you're supposed to be. It sounds like you tried the MCATs, didn't work out. You thought physician route, then PA, and then LPN. You took that route, and here you are. So you are where you're meant to be, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So have you seen any roadblocks along your nursing career?
So actually, my roadblocks, which I mentioned, led me to the nursing career. So I didn't have any roadblocks in nursing. I had the roadblocks I have in my other career goals led me to nursing. And since then, the pathway to nursing has been clear since I've been to nursing. So nursing essentially has been my roadmap to success, and not just the nursing field, but just in me developing as a person, making impact on people. Just everything that I've been doing has been based on my nursing knowledge. So it has no roadblocks, just nothing but road maps.
Yeah. Sounds like to me you're the persistent type. You knew you wanted medical field, and you were persistent until you ended up meeting your goal in life. So
yeah, I'm very persistent. I don't like to stay in one place.
It shows. So tell us, what keeps your drive moving forward and achieving your goals? What keeps you moving? What is your drive?
So I realized before I got my bachelor's degree, I was real excited about the potential of nursing, because I realized the potential of nursing goes beyond just giving patients medicine and changing bedpans and turning patients. The impact in general, impact of nursing in general, is inspirational. So that's what keeps me going. Just the fact of being a nurse, and I can touch people's lives with the knowledge I gain from everyday activities. That's what keeps me motivated. The fact that I inspire others and help someone. Goes beyond just pay. The fact that I have a patient that I took care of for a week, and to see them laid out in bed really sick and little chance for survival, and get up and go and say thank you for your care. That's what keeps me going. And I can see the potential is always high in nursing. So.
I respect that 100%.
Mhm.
Your comment when you said being a nurse in general is inspirational, you couldn't have said it any better. I agree that. So tell us more about the Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group. We know it's the largest networking NP group in the state of South Carolina. I want to hear about that and how it's beneficial to its members, and to include the DNP of Color. You're on the board advisors. Can you tell us about both?
Yes. So I'll first talk about Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group. It started off when one of my colleagues, Barbara Hall, she approached me when we went to a nurse practitioner conference. He said, "Hey, do you want to revive this group? This Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group is actually a resuscitated group that fell apart due to whatever reason." So when we first formed, it was around 2013, I believe. Yeah, we met in a little Mexican restaurant, and there's three of us. Yeah, we just kind of met. We wanted to. Initial purpose was to network with nurse practitioners around the city of Columbia, South Carolina, and also to bring people together and kind of show the significance of the nurse practitioner field by networking and showing people the value of being a nurse practitioner. Since then, we've gone from 3 members to well over 300 members. We're going
Wow.
8 years strong. This was unexpected because I did not think, I thought it was just going to be some little fun little club and we just do it. But we started to grow exponentially to the point where we need a lot of help. We're just trying to expand. So right now we are hosting monthly meetings. So a bunch of us get together. Our meetings are so packed that we have to set RSVP limits. Within 2 hours, the meetings fill up, and we actually had to create a waiting list so people can get in.
Wow.
We've also been doing continuing education virtually since COVID. We started seeing the value of doing things virtually, so we can reach audiences outside of the area of Columbia. So we do every couple of months we do continuing education. We've been helping create lobby for nurse practitioner rights. We've been working with the coalition to help implement health policy. So we've been trying to do that. That's one of the things we looked at. And a new venue we're venturing on is help out nurse practitioner students, because that's the ones that really need help. Since nursing began, now it's very difficult for them to get preceptors. A lot of them need mentoring and coaching. So we're trying to open up and be a valuable resource for them. So that's what we're focused on. So it's beneficial to the members. They love social networking. I always tell people I got my job due to networking. So this enables people to get access to preceptors, jobs.
That's awesome.
All kinds of stuff. So it provides that venue. Now, DNPs of Color happened because of the pandemic. My involvement with DNPs of Color happened because of the pandemic, because everyone couldn't go anywhere. Everyone was on social media. I was on social media a lot. I met Danielle McKinney. She's the CEO and founder of this organization, because we met on LinkedIn, and she said the word, "You need to get on my calendar." so we got on each other's calendar, and since then we clicked instantly. So we've been side to side working together since she's the CEO and I'm the chief executive director and founder of the organization. We put our minds together and we help build up this organization. That has well over 1,000 people. And the purpose of it is to build diversity and show excellence with nurses with advanced degrees, particularly doctoral degrees. So it's not just like a social group. We teach them and show the value of your doctorate in nursing and the importance of diversity and in showing your worth, and train people how to use that doctorate. Not just to call yourself a doctor, but actually use it to motivate and uplift individuals who may be underprivileged or disadvantaged. So that's the purpose of that. And that has grown significantly. We just had a big conference and well over 200 people virtually. And we can continue to grow. So I like doing that stuff with that organization.
So you're doing some pretty amazing things. So Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group, you had mentioned that it started with 3 people in a Mexican restaurant, and now you have over 300 members. And did I hear you right? You said a waiting list?
A waiting list to get into our meetings, because so many people, and it used to be as soon as we send a notice out, within 2 hours, the meeting list, the RSVP will fill up. So
Wow.
yeah,
But no wonder. I mean, you're lobbying for NP rights, you're impacting health policy, you're helping nurses get preceptors, you're doing big things. So it's
yeah,
no wonder you have a wait list.
yeah. It's very successful. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was very tiresome because, and I'm thankful for my staff members that I work with, especially my president, Lauren Booth. She's been by my side since the beginning. She's very dedicated. She works hard and then tries to do her best to keep the success of Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group.
Isn't it funny how things work out? I'm still thinking about how persistent you were with getting in the medicine field.
Yeah.
We'll cut that part out.
Okay.
Okay. It's funny how things work out. You were talking earlier about how persistent you were. Medical physician route didn't work, PA, and then you became a nurse practitioner. You work full time in university setting. You work as a hospitalist. And you've got all this stuff going on, and now you're part of the DNP of Color in this Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group. So it's funny how things work out.
Yes, they do. And like I said, my journey, my pathway to failure led to my journey to success. I always use that term, and I actually made a post about that because that's true. I never would have imagined, and I don't think without nursing I would have never got to this point. I'm doing a lot of things like talking, even this interview. I used to be socially awkward. I would have difficulty talking comfortably, but now I just kind of broke all my fears and my barriers of things that kept me from progressing forward.
Good for you. I mean, I would have never known you were socially, because you're just doing it so natural. I would have never guessed.
That's kind of the nursing. So,
what are your experiences and tips for anyone interested in currently working in a university setting?
So number one tip is do adjunct first.
Okay.
Adjunct work, you kind of feel your way in academia, because academia is not what it seems. I can tell you my first year was very difficult. It was one of my challenging time where I doubted myself. The imposter syndrome is real. You'll feel worthless. You feel like you're not good enough. So start slow, do some adjunct. And then one of the things you have to realize is that being in an academic setting does not just deal with teaching. If you're involved in many meetings, programs, you're responsible for creating courses, questions, counseling students. So it takes a lot from you. So you just have to be prepared, be organized. If you can, do some training, like get your certification in nurse education first, because there's certain nuances that I'm not aware of and I'm still learning as I go. And you learn a lot with students. You have to have a great attitude, be patient, be able to take criticism, because you will be criticized no matter how good you do. So someone will think you're the worst professor in the whole world. You just have to be able to take criticism and take everything with a grain of salt, and then try to work yourself to be better. So that's my advice.
Well, that's good to know. So don't jump in cold turkey, like don't jump in full force.
You'll be knocked right back on your feet, thinking that I can do this, and don't think you have a bunch of free time and you're very busy. But it's rewarding when you see a student smile and say thank you, or students say you helped me a lot, you motivated me. So those are the things that kept me going in the field.
Keeps you motivated. Yeah.
Keeps me motivated.
Awesome. So Dr. Dwayne Alleyne, question for you. Amidst the pandemic and nurses being burnt out, how would you encourage our future nurses to pursue their nursing career?
So I would tell them there's flexibility in nursing, because nurses, when they get into nursing school, they focus on the bedside, or travel nursing. That's a new thing. I just want to be a travel nurse. But the world of nursing is so open, so many opportunities. IT, you can be an IT nurse. You can be into case management. You can be into education. You can be in management. So you don't have to stay at the bedside. And it's good to stay at the bedside for at least 2 or 3 years. But once you get past that phase and you learn what you need to learn, you can break away. So it's not about just bedside nursing. And you see a lot of nurses now, they're creating businesses, because nursing teaches you how to be organized, how to do critical thinking, and that's an important part of business. That's why you see one of the more successful nurses do businesses. Even legal nurse consultant, I was involved with that. That's a good lucrative business if you put your heart and mind into it. So just keep in mind that there's a lot to nursing outside of just being at the bedside. So
that's right. There's a lot more to it than just A lot of people hear nurse and they just assume you're at the bedside. And what you're saying is it's not just that. There's so many avenues you can take.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the best message you can tell our nurses who are burnt out to boost the morale and keep moving forward?
So kind of similar to the previous question, it's one in my three words: don't give up. So you have more power than you think you have. You see how everything changed even with the pandemic. I'm surprised it took a pandemic for people to realize the power of nurses. We have more power than we know. If we know how to utilize it and harness that power, nursing will always be great. People are burnt out because they're somewhat being in a place where they're allowed to be abused. So step away from that situation, use our power, advance, and move on. Like I said, I've never felt burned out from nursing because I always kept it moving. So keep it moving as well.
So don't give up, keep your head up, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So what significant changes have you seen in nursing for the past 20 years of your service?
So I've seen a lot of changes, but the most significant changes was due to the pandemic. So one of the big changes is which is upsetting because it took a pandemic to realize the value of nurses, is how these nurses stepped away from being burnt out. So now they have to be paid high hourly wages just to be kept. So that's one of the big changes, that we are significant. We're not just a number in a corporate book that say, well, I have X number of nurses. We are important, especially based on our skills, our commitment, and the sacrifice. So we've definitely made the case of the value of nursing. Also, previously to the pandemic, I'm seeing the value of advanced nurses as well. We're being utilized more in clinical settings. We're gaining more independence. We're being our experience is being appreciated more, especially from physicians and all the healthcare professionals. Our expertise is being utilized in many healthcare facilities. So that's where I've seen that progress, and hopefully that'll continue to grow. And especially when it comes to access to care and good care, especially the underserved and underprivileged. That's the value of nursing that I've been seeing change over the past 20 years.
Yeah, and you were right. You know, nurses are very, very much valued. And you mentioned when you first started answering the question that it took the pandemic to really spotlight and show just how valuable, because look at how much these travelers are getting paid. Because nurses are needed. You got to have us.
Yeah, and I think they're still thinking that we're disposable, and
right.
Certain companies abuse them and say, yeah, we're going to give you a raise, but we're going to cut everything else. And now they learn the hard way. So, well, I'll step away, and you have a choice where you want to work. You can set your own hours. If you just want to work weekdays, work at a place like a clinic. You have the right and the option based on your skills. And only, unfortunately, you just have to gain your skills. Once you have your skills, you're golden.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today. You are doing a lot. You work in the university setting. You're a hospitalist. You said PRN, and you told us your story. You're very persistent, and look where you are. Look what difference you're making. You're part of the DNP of Color and the Capitol Nurse Practitioner Group. Thank you for telling us about that.
Yes, yeah, I do. And I do other things as well. Like I said, I'm a deacon at a large congregation, and I'm the finance chair and help set up a budget for over $300,000. So I do a lot of stuff, and the healthcare ministry as well. So I do that.
Yes, you do. Was there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think I've talked enough. I appreciated this. I like to talk, and hopefully whoever sees this video will be inspired. And I'm, like I said, I'm always available to talk and chat with people. They want some motivation, because I can tell people that those are thinking about giving up. During my last 2 semesters of obtaining my doctorate, I had to deal with the challenge of my sister passing away from cancer. I was going back and forth with hospice, and during my last semester, my father died from COVID, so I had to.
Oh my gosh!
And then after his funeral, I had to do my final defense. So don't let challenges or setbacks hold you back. As long as you stay persistent and push forward, you can do it. And so that's part of my reason I'm motivated as well, because of my sister and my father. They keep me motivated, because they're the ones that told me keep going. My sister said, promise me you'll keep going no matter what. So that's why I keep doing.
I'm going to say it takes courage to share what you just shared. That's very personal. And, you know, you were obtaining your doctorate, you're at the last part of it, and you persisted. You moved forward and you didn't stop, you know, and you started with wanting to be a physician and then a PA, and now you're where you are, and you never stopped. And you mentioned you hoped you inspired people. I have no doubt you've inspired people today. Thank you very much for sharing that story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for our viewers, our listeners today on Nurse Deck Podcast, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.